Drones over Moscow weren't the opening move. They were the result. The real battle happened in the invisible spectrum, where Ukraine's Bwavl AD and Noda tore gaps in Russian EW like Kasuka. Stay with this. We'll show how that frequency corridor let Shark and TB2 spotters slip past S300/400 umbrellas and Q-Storm Shadow and Harm onto command nodes, turning missile defense into a reaction, not a shield. If you track intercept counts, you're missing the war that decides them. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
That attack at Belaya Air Base in Siberia, while simultaneously, thousands of miles away, Olenaya Air Base was also struck. Minutes later, locals posted images of smoke rising from the base, with drones heard overhead. And Ukrainian Special Forces drone clearly shows Russian aircraft on fire. Another plane explodes in a ball of flames on camera.
If 193 drones show up over Moscow, the fight started hours earlier inside the noise floor. That's where the first moves landed, not over the city, but deep in the spectrum where your eyes can't follow and timing is a weapon. Russian EW like Kasuka builds a thick jamming dome. It should blind spotters, break links, and force drones to drift dumb long before they touch the S300/400 rings. Interceptors surge, tracers fill lanes, but reconnaissance still threads gaps, and follow-on strikes keep getting routes. So how does a data link stay alive when the sky is hostile and loud? Bwavl AD and Noda run as a paired play. One bends the spectrum with adaptive jamming and decoys that flood threat lists. The other senses and maps the churn, clocks the rhythm, and waits for the beat to slip.
These new satellite images show a Russian airbase before and after the covert attacks Ukraine has dubbed Operation Spiderweb. The latest video this morning, a burning Russian truck apparently used in a string of audacious Ukrainian drone strikes. Analysis of videos from Ukraine's special forces show a drone closing in on one of President Putin's prized long-range bombers.
Think of a gridlocked highway where one team shifts lanes with cones while the other reads brake lights and waves the convoy through. The tools are precise and small. Noise-to-signal shaping dulls the hiss around friendly packets. Offset frequencies land just outside the receiver's comfort zone. Time-sliced link hops open for a breath, then vanish before a lock. Deceptive emissions light up phantom targets and drag Russian filters to dead ends. A Shark drone rides low with a steady, narrow link. TB2 hangs at standoff, cold and patient. They pass coordinates only when Kasuka cycles to reacquire, when its focus moves and the floor gets quiet for a few beats. Those seconds carry missiles. Research shows air defenses make trade-offs. When EW hunts emitters, ISR finds room. When radar grabs airframes, link jams slip. Ukraine leans on that choice. It also layers cues, seed drones, FPV swarms, and loiterers that force specific Russian modes on command. Push here, they pivot there. Pivot there, a window opens.
Ukraine says it smuggled more than 100 small drones into Russia for the precision strikes that took 18 months of planning. Russia has 60 of them in operation, but they are no longer in production, so it would take years and billions of dollars to replace them. This morning, a list of Russian demands published by the state news agency TASS suggests the Kremlin is in no mood to compromise.
Ukraine didn't dodge the shield. It timed it. The frequency corridor was built, not found, and Shark with TB2 stamped nodes for Storm Shadow and Harm. Now we ride that data downrange to the missiles that pressure command hubs under the S300/400 umbrella. What breaks first when a command hub sits under layered missiles but loses spectrum control for minutes at a time? Not concrete. The clock. The bubble is thick. S300/400 rings watch the high arcs. Point defenses and counter-UAV guns rake the low lanes. To get a shot through, you need clean targeting, clean timing, and clean routes. Miss anyone and the missile dies early. But even with coordinates, shots fail if mid-course updates get jammed or if decoys drag interceptors off axis. The defense expects straight-line logic. It does not expect shifting windows that move faster than a console can refresh.
The Mi-8 is a Soviet-era multi-role transport helicopter used for troop movements, cargo delivery, roughly 13 kilometers from Simferopol. The helicopters destroyed are valued at an estimated $20, 30 million. A military tugboat, believed to be the Buk 2190, was also struck in Sevastopol Bay.
Here's the chain when it works. Shark and TB2 confirm emitters and relay geometry. Ground nodes fuse the tracks into a live route matrix. The strike package splits. Storm shadow angles for hardened nodes. AGM 88 Harm hunts the radars and EW sets that guard the bubble. Each weapon plays a part. None carry the whole load. Sequencing makes it possible. Harms go first, keyed to active emitters or to the noise that tries to hide them. Loitering drones skim rooftops to yank point defense fire and expose engagement logic. Then Storm Shadow enters the picture that's now thinner, slower, and full of blind spots. A radar flips to guard mode to catch the incoming wave. That flip is a pulse with an address. Harms bite on it. For the next 30 seconds, the sight either radiates and dies or shuts down and goes blind. That half minute is a lane, and a cruise missile can live inside it. Even high-end IADS bend under cognitive overload. Sensor fusion nodes stall under saturation and deception, turning the shield into a lagging filter. The net still works, but it updates late. Late is enough.
Carried out by the Ukrainian Ghosts special unit are claimed to have caused damage worth tens of millions of dollars. Damage to the tugboat significantly limits the combat capabilities of the elite Russian unit. The vessel met an unfortunate end. Ukraine's military intelligence has released footage showing drone strikes on 2 Russian Mi-8 helicopters and
Over Moscow, speed matters less than desensing the defense clock. Seconds create windows. Windows create routes. Routes reach command. So what looked like an interceptor failure was a timing win in the EM layer. Drones didn't beat the missiles. They choreographed them, beat by beat. Hold that thought. If the invisible layer sets the terms of every deep strike, what does that demand from future defenses, and from you as an analyst? Command failed first. Spectrum failed with it. The side that scripts the timing writes the kill chain, and that's the hard truth the strike exposed. You saw layered missiles, guns, and intercepts, but the decisive layer was the invisible one, control of signals, windows, and handoffs. That's where deep strikes start and end. If you track intercept counts, you're late to the fight. Subscribe and tell me which layer you would harden first. Spectrum, sensors, or shooters. Comment your choice below. The next battle starts where you can't see it. We'll meet you there with facts, not noise. Subscribe and join a community that seeks real understanding.